Hi everyone, I'm Danielle Owens and I'm the Restorative Justice Coordinator at Austin Achieve Middle School. We're a tuition-free, open enrollment, public charter school preparing East Austin youth to attend and excel at top universities. And I wanted to talk about how restorative justice and restorative practices came to Austin Achieve and how we developed our restorative justice program. But before I even get there, I wanted to talk about where restorative justice comes from, where restorative practices comes from, how it came to America, and then how it came to our school. RJ stands for restorative justice, and it's based on ancient practices from indigenous tribes from all over the world, specifically from the First Nations people of Canada and the Maori tribe of New Zealand. The First Nations people have beliefs that justice should be served through healing and community. And in the Native worldview, there's a deep connection between justice, spirituality, and community. Harmony and balance are of major importance in this community. The Maori people of New Zealand also hold similar beliefs that the community and togetherness is the most important aspect of life. When harm is done, it's expected to be repaired to the community and to the people who are harmed. Solving problems is done through community, not by calling police and not by having a judge decide what should happen. In the United States, we utilize the ideas from many indigenous people and many indigenous cultures to create our own version of restorative justice, which is practiced in some states and some schools today. So, what is restorative justice exactly? So the reason why we use restorative justice is because in the United States, the criminal justice system, so police, courts, jail, believe that being punitive or punishing that causes suffering is the way for offenders to learn from their choice and not do it again. Unfortunately, using this punitive way to address criminal behavior has proven not to work. In America, studies show that 67% or 2/3 of people who go to prison will return to prison within 3 years. And many schools in America have also taken this approach that being punitive or punishing students who make poor choices or cause harm will help them learn or grow from this. We see this by students being suspended from school, giving punishments like in-school suspension, or serving consequences like after-school detention. These punishments also have proven not to work. Many students who get suspended from school are suspended more than once. Studies also show that if you're Black or Latino, you are more likely to get suspended for offenses in school. In schools, restorative justice and restorative practices look at how poor choices affect the offender or the person who caused the harm, the victim or the person who was harmed, and the community as a whole. Many times when a student makes poor choices, more than just one person is affected. And it's important that the student make it right or repair the harm with all those who are affected. So how has restorative justice kind of been impacted in the United States within the criminal justice system and the school system? So in the United States, there are now 11 states who have restorative justice written into law. These states include Colorado, Delaware, Florida, Hawaii, Maine, Minnesota, Missouri, Montana, South Carolina, Vermont, and West Virginia. In Hawaii, having a criminal justice system guided by restorative justice means that they have family or community impact panels, family impact educational classes, victim impact panels, and victim impact educational classes all across the state. In Colorado, juvenile reintegration is a big priority. So when young people are sent to juvenile detention centers, how do we bring them back into the community? That means that one of the biggest goals of restorative justice in Colorado is to make sure youth who have been involved in the juvenile justice system are given the chance to return to their communities with support that is needed to succeed and be their best selves, alongside making sure that Colorado communities stay safe. Alongside the 11 states that prioritize restorative justice, 17 more states blend together restorative justice practices with their current criminal justice systems. This means that over half the United States is prioritizing repairing community harm and mending victim-offender relationships. In the school system, so the first schools that replaced zero-tolerance discipline policies with restorative practices was California's Oakland School District in 2006. Since then, restorative justice has expanded and is now practiced across so many schools in the United States. Studies in California, Colorado, and Texas have found that RJ, or restorative justice, plays a huge role in reducing student suspensions and expulsions. For example, in one Texas school, there was an 84% drop in out-of-school suspensions among 6th graders in just the first year that restorative justice was introduced. Similarly, Cole Middle School in Oakland, California saw an 87% drop in suspensions across their entire school compared to when they didn't have a restorative justice program. They even got rid of expulsions entirely because of how effective restorative justice was. School studies have also found that restorative justice is helpful in reducing student absenteeism, so students who don't come to school. One study found that a student who participated in the RJ program at their school had a 50% reduction in their absences and even decreased their tardiness or coming to school late by 64%. Oakland School District even conducted a study where they found that middle schools that do have a restorative justice program, that student absences dropped by 24%. Schools that didn't have an RJ program saw an almost 63% increase in chronic absences during that same time period. When Austin Achieve was first founded, like many other schools, it used a punitive way of thinking to give consequences to scholars. After seeing that suspending scholars was not helping scholars make better choices, and it was not making scholars feel part of our Austin Achieve community, we decided to create a restorative justice program to replace the outdated, ineffective discipline models that were not serving our students. In the restorative justice program, scholars are expected to reflect on their choices, take accountability, and repair the harm to all those people that they've affected. So instead of sitting in a room in silence all day, scholars are expected to participate in multiple social emotional activities, circles, and get all of their classwork done with the support of a teacher who's trained in restorative practices. Scholars are still able to maintain relationships with their teachers because they're still on campus, and it's expected that teachers work hard as well as students to maintain those relationships and make that happen. Our scholars graduate the RJ program with more tools in their tool belt, so that way they have more resources to not make that choice again if they're stuck in a similar situation that got them there in the first place. At Austin Achieve, we want our scholars to feel like they're part of our community and that making mistakes is part of life, but they're expected to fix it. We haven't always had it figured out, but we're working really hard to make our school one of the most restorative schools in the country. And that is all I have for you guys today. I really hope that this taught you something about restorative justice and restorative practices, and I hope that you're inspired by what we do at our school to maybe bring some ideas to your school as well. I hope you're staying healthy and safe, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye!